We can go to Target after.
Okay, and
You'll never truly be safe from cybercrime.
We can get eggs and milk for sure, and bread.
Most don't even give it a second thought.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt here. I got your boxes here, your cake, and sir, your card was declined. So I don't know if you have to take care of something. I'll leave this here for you, okay? I'll be back. I'll check that for you.
Their life continues on, just like is normal. Until one day,
everything okay, babe?
they wind up the victim.
Yeah, I think we should go though.
Unbeknownst to most, even a single misplacement of your private credentials could cost you everything. Mere hours ago, tens of thousands of dollars were lifted from this man's bank account without so much as a warning. Wanting to get to the bottom of this, we reached out to someone who could tell us what happened here.
This person fell victim to what is called a SIM swap attack. SIM swapping is a relatively new form of attack. It came up about 2019. If done correctly, this will allow the attacker to illicitly wire funds out of the user's account. SIM swapping first came to the forefront about 2019 with a ZDNet article explaining how a victim lost tens of thousands of dollars from their account as a result of SIM swapping. This attack exploits mobile phone authorization vulnerabilities in the banking infrastructure. So as banks and retailers, we've often used telephone numbers as our way to verify our clients are on the other end of the line. So when that number gets redirected to a different device, the criminal is able to verify themselves as you. So one of the vulnerabilities in the ecosystem is something called password reuse. So if you total up all of the number of online accounts that you have through social media, public utilities, banking sites, education, and when you think that there's an average of about 6 passwords protecting all 40 or more of those accounts, password reuse is a big problem in the ecosystem. So criminals will steal usernames and passwords from sites with less security and then try them against banking sites to see where those credentials are reused. That's when we have to rely on our systems to detect that fraud.
Scott explained to us that every year, thousands of companies have their clients' data leaked en masse. People then resell spreadsheets containing sometimes millions of lines of people's private credentials. Behind each and every line lies the private information of a real person.
So over and above the obvious, like the banking accounts and the brokerage accounts that may have cash balances, criminals are basically looking for the most liquid types of accounts. Those are peer-to-peer payment systems like PayPal, Venmo, etc., or crypto wallets are another big target.
Wanting to know more about SIM swapping, we sought out someone with first-hand experience.
Thank you for coming. Please have a seat.
We were able to track down someone knowledgeable enough on SIM swapping who said he could teach us a few things. He kept his introductions brief.
I grew up pretty close to a lot of people. They're always looking for the new method. Just trying to make something out of nothing, you know? My friend showed me this kid on Snapchat, only a couple years younger than us. He was throwing $1 million parties with scam money in Miami. I knew he was onto something big, so I had to tap in.
After discussing his background, he told us about his mentor, a 17-year-old kid from Florida.
Graham Clark. He's like the godfather of sim swapping. He was 14. He isolated himself in his room, scamming people on Minecraft. He also had a huge YouTube channel where he'd scam his fans as well, but he wasn't alone. His friends would help him scam. They all had an operation where they hacked and sold Minecraft accounts and Twitter profiles with rare names on OG users. Graham essentially ran his own cybercrime syndicate for like 3 years. From there, he hopped on hack forums, and then that's where he got put on sim swapping.
Graham's larceny seemingly knew no bounds.
One day, him and his buddy made it big by sim swapping this crypto trader from Seattle who worked at a VC firm. Graham took control of this guy's numbers, account, and stole $850K alone from his Bittrex. He then blackmailed this guy with his address and full name to get the rest of his assets. The method that got popular within the community was scrolling through the following page on crypto exchanges on Twitter and seeing who looked like they were worth something. From there, people started hitting celebrities. Off the top of my head, I know this one kid on Twitter blew up because he sim swapped this rapper named Con for 40K. Honestly, anyone could get hit. The more money you have, the bigger the target on your back gets.
So there are two major methods of how sim swap attacks happen. One is the social engineering game where the attacker calls up your telco, convinces them that they are you, and convinces them to transfer your telephone number to their device. The second exploit is where they have an insider. Now, these are pretty low-paying jobs within the telcos, so this insider might get $100, $200 per sim swap when they select those victims based on the name and the credentials that the attacker may already have of the victim. After indexing all that information about the victim, the next step would be to spoof that to the IMEI number of their telephone. This requires sophisticated hardware and firmware tampering in order to pull off. Depending on the number of credentials that are compromised, the exposure to the victim could be boundless. You should consider that phone and that account completely compromised. Realistically, not being on that side of the fence, I would assume it would take a lot of sophistication to pull off one of these attacks, as well as a lot of well-placed friends. You need a lot of friends on the dark web. You need a good reputation on the dark web in order to make these purchases of credentials. And you need friends at the telcos to transfer those telephone numbers over to your devices.
We asked the scammer if sim swapping was hard to pull off and if there was an entry barrier surrounding technical knowledge that would be required to execute the attack.
No, but anyone can do it. I'll show you right now how simple this shit is.
As it turns out, it's far less than impossible. In fact, it doesn't even seem that difficult.
This is my phone, and this is yours. Now what do I have to do in order to get your money on my phone? The first thing I need to do is get your information. To make things easy here, let's say I found you on Data Breach and I have your name, number, and email. Nothing too crazy. This is where it all begins. All you need to do is take out your phone SIM card and replace it with a carrier unlocked SIM card.
The scammer showed us that the operation required to install a blank SIM card is so simple that it can be done with something as mundane as a paperclip or a mechanical pencil.
You can legit get these as prepaid SIMs at 7-Eleven. They're not hard to come by at all.
Blank SIM cards are legally sold on Amazon for as low as $2 a piece.
This is the hard part. What I have to do now is call someone at the target's phone carrier. If you're a pro, you typically have someone stationed over there who has access to the company's back end. If not, you have to get a little creative. Make up a story about how you need your number ported over to a new device.
Hello, AT&T. How can I assist you today?
When they buy your story, your phone should lose service. reboot it. And when it comes back online, you're in. Their number is now bound to your phone's IMEI. All I need to do is log into the target's Cash App and wire myself the money. So how do I get into this guy's account? As you already know, I never had this guy's login details. All I have to do is request a password reset and all the power is in my hands. Now, all I have to do is hit send. Because this is just a recreation, the authentication code still sends to the victim's phone. But if you followed my steps, the code will come to you. Now that I have total access to the target's account, you'll see that their phone logged them out, meaning that in real time, the victim won't be able to gain access to their account. Unless they have the actual app open right now, they won't even know they've been breached. You now control their number, and your password now controls their account. And all I have to do now is send myself his money. For the sake of transparency, I never use my own personal Cash App account as a mule account. That's the easiest way to get locked up. You can buy cracked Cash App accounts online for cheap to use as mules to make sure you're harder to trace. Now, just like a normal transaction, I'll send them money to one of my accounts. If the target's dumb enough to have their debit card saved to their account, I can keep pulling funds from his bank and putting them into his Cash App to wire out. And boom, I'll never see it again. The last step is completely optional, but I like to do it to stay safe. Convert your money into crypto and have it tumble. Most payment processors like Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal will stop looking for the money after it leaves their exchange, but banks like Wells and B of A, they'll chase you down if the amount's big enough. That's why you gotta tumble it, so they won't spend hours looking through thousands of blockchain transactions to see where the funds landed.
I would say that a majority of the population has never even heard of SIM swapping. And who's to say that they won't be the next victim? One of the best things you can do to protect yourself with your mobile carrier is to do something called third-party verification. In the event of a SIM swap, your mobile carrier would reach out to this third party and confirm that A, they know you, and B, that you bought a new phone and want to move the telephone number to it. If they don't offer third-party verification, make sure that they offer PIN so that they can send a PIN to your telephone number if indeed you are attempting to port that telephone number to a new device. So the best thing that you can hope for if you have incurred a loss is that you're banking with someone that has a fraud guarantee who's going to reimburse those funds. My advice to anyone would to be vigilant and proactive and to leverage all security measures that your institutions have to offer, and do not be a victim.
What would I tell the public? Don't be a victim.